I forgot Jigohan one arm is in this game. Hi, by the way, to anybody who joins the stream. Just gotta wait for my frickin' YouTube to load so I can properly tell people. Even though no one really reacts on YouTube anymore, they react on the Discord, but hey, it's whatever. I didn't know you had a good side. I'm gonna keep saying that every time he says that in the game. I mean, if you watch the filler art with the Bora in Heaven, then yes, he has a good side, but no, that's not really canon, so yeah. Boom. Okay. Yeah, how about now? Freaking ow! How about not? Gloria, screw this. Amaterasu! Okay, no. Mataratsu! He even makes this. This is definitely the Japan voice actor for Naruto, or Sasuke or Kakashi. He has the moves of both of them with the purple lightning and some of his other techniques, and his voice is similar. I think they literally did Glorio for Naruto and everything. I mean, that isn't the first time that they put a character in Dragon Ball or into another show that was modeled after another person. So I wouldn't be surprised. Deborah versus Gohan, the rematch. Because we never actually got a decisive winner in that fight. We were teased for a second fight, but that really never happened, now did it? I didn't know you had a good side. Now you're dead. It kind of was. Wait, didn't I just fight him? You know what? Never mind. I did fight him. I guess this tournament's team chose to be a copy. At least of one guy. Maximum Chidori! Can't wait until they put in the English dub for all the Daima people. That's the best you can do! You haven't even scared the crowd enough yet. Really? And now, you're dead! Bye-bye. Bye-bye! Beat that team. Got a Kid Gohan team, really? Oh, it's got Glorio in there. I'm gonna have to fight freaking Glorio against Glorio. That's fun. Deborah versus Kid Gohan. Yeah, this wouldn't be a total freaking squash. Is my stream even active? Okay. Dude, this is a freaking squash right here. that the best you got? And now, you're dead. Really? He was right there! Yeah, Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. Bye-bye! Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Janemba! Because, yeah, obviously. They definitely made Lightning Shower Rain way weaker. Or, I'm sorry, Dimension Ray weaker in this frickin' game. Really? Yeah. That's what happens when you walk straight into a freaking attack. And now you're dead. Now blue Goku? Majube. Because Oob is now falling into the super timeline, so I gotta do something. I love how many times they've switched Oob's voice actor. They've changed him in frickin' the anime. They've changed him and kept it up with Kakarot. They changed him in Xenoverse, and now they've changed him in Sparking. Remember this thing that they used to do in the game? Whereas if you hit the move, you'd be able... What's up, King? You'd be able to continue the dang move? Well, apparently, you can't do that! How great! Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, big secret. It's not like every single person in the Dragon universe didn't know you had it or anything. Yeah. Goku, you're an idiot. Just saying. Hey, do it again! Do it again! I'm doing alright. Tired, but alright. Playing some Budokai Tenkaichi 4 / Sparking 0. Glorio. Well, now it's going to be Glorio versus Glorio. By the way, notice the hair? No more original blonde or red. Got it bleached. Now it's frickin' light blonde / white. And there's a reasoning for that. Just wait until the middle of July. You'll see why. Yeah, bye, Felicia. Really? I couldn't have got him in time? Oh. Switched. How are you liking the zombie Goku story? Oh, now the crowd runs from a simple Dodon Ray? But oh, all the other attacks, no, you're not going to run from them. It's because he shot it right at the frickin' crowd. Originally, I always wanted red as a color because out of all colors, it's the most awesome to have it dyed to, but I never hated my blonde. And then I kept it red for the longest time. And then I saw the color that you're going to see the middle of July. And I was like, that will perfectly fit my new look that I'm trying to do for the Omniverse. I even got a hat and a shirt and everything, and a bunch of other type clothes and accessories that your guys are going to have a look at whenever the middle of July pops up. But red, blonde, this bleached, very light blonde / white, and the color that you guys are going to see in the middle of July is all I would ever want my hair to be. No other colors. I'm fine with all the colors that you've seen of me and what the last color you will see of me in the middle of July will be. Showing a true consequence because now Goku can't come back. Uh-huh. And now you're dead. A textbook victory. Now I'm fighting a Majube team. What are the odds? I already fought Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and I have Majube on my team. What the frick? Yeah. Those two lists that I showed last time, did you have a look at both of them and share what you're looking forward to? Really? You just had to run away, didn't you? Good grief. Who do you think would win between Bobbity and Goldo? Do you mind? And now you're dead. Now freaking Goten. Oh, wait, that's Super Saiyan freaking Kid Goku from Daima. Freaking rematch. Stream this on my Discord. I'm also going to shut my headphones off just to make sure. You're still there, right, King? Did you get my 2 questions? And also, is anyone else present? Ha, you walked into it, you dumbo. Pretty sure you had way less health than that, but okay. Now you don't. Really? We're going to do this again? Super Janemba versus Super Saiyan 3 Goku? We're really going to do this again. Now you're dead. Freezer. You know what? I'm gonna keep fighting this Janemba. Yeah, I don't know if you saw or got my 2 questions there, King. But also, they added Shallot to Sparking Zero, the guy from Dragon Ball Legends. And he's also voiced by a great YouTuber and big Dragon Ball dude, Kagi Films. Alejandro Saab, Kagi Films, Kagmaster, whatever the heck you want to call him. And now you're dead. And now I win.
This contestant made it through some fierce battles to claim their well-earned glory. Amazing! Congratulations on your victory! The fiercest fighters have gathered here today.
I'm guessing King isn't here anymore, and neither are most of the people. I don't think anyone's really in yet besides King. And I don't know where King is.
Get ready, folks. This will be a feast for your eyes. The first match is about to begin.
Hercule. Really? You can't block that? What? Well, that is an appealing noise. Just hearing a freaking thunderstorm. Hey, bro, what's up? I'm watching you with my friend Laura over here after we played Chained together. Okay. Interesting. I'm confused, but okay. You getting ready for work or something? And also I asked, did you get to see the 2 lists last time and voice your opinions? And also, who do you think would win, Bobbity versus Goldo? And also, did you know they added Shallot from Dragon Ball Legends into Sparking Zero? And he was the character there, just like they did with Android 21 from Fighters into Xenoverse. This isn't the first time they've added game-only characters into another game. And also, Alejandro Saab, Kagi Films, Kagmaster, whatever the heck you want to call him. He's a YouTuber and Twitch streamer and all that, and a Freaking pretty popular dude. He voices Shallot and returned to voice him in the game. Yeah, we're not doing that again. Hercule, how about you just die? Save me the trouble. Please. Can you just die, please? Is that really how he powers up? Really? Like, seriously. I did. And I think Bobbity... I don't know if you're a Dragon Ball Legends fan. I know about it, and I know a good bit about the game, and that Shallot is a Saiyan, like an ancient Saiyan, pretty much, and that Kegi Films voices the character, which is the main reason I tried to get into the game, but I'm more of a Dokkan battle guy. But I do know a great bit about Legends. What the frick was that? I'm taking it that's an animal. But yeah, basically, Shallot's a game-only character like Android 21 from Fighters, except he's a Saiyan, not an Android Majin type thing. And it makes me want to do more stuff on Shallot. Especially since a guy like Kagi Films voices him. How cool is that? And he's a pretty popular dude. He's a freaking YouTuber. He's a Twitch streamer. And he's definitely pretty freaking popular. Question isn't where I'm looking, it's where are you looking? Freaking cabbage. 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 I gotta get myself to laugh somehow. Don't ask me stupid questions. It's not often they add game-only characters into another game, especially, well, mainly with Dragon Ball. Didn't I already? Oh, what if? Wait. What if Dewey was in Saw I'm looking forward to? As for the what ifs, I'm looking forward to On the List. I thought I already uploaded Dewey and Saw, but no, that's a done project. And get this, you know that whole forwarding list way above thing and showing you guys two lists? I have, give me a second. Since I told you guys about that and started the lists and everything, just give me one quick second. I gotta get Kohler off my freaking butt. Give it a second, Vegets. No, you don't have to apologize. I just thought it was done. That wasn't on you. Alright, so those two that I showed you, the Roman Reigns one and the Clara one, those are the ones I showed you guys. So you guys can look at them at your leisure. But since I did that, 1, 2, 3, 4. Phone, shut up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6, 27. I have worked on 27 more lists, which leaves my Google Doc at from 2,000 ideas to 1,760. I'm still thinking that 2027 at the let me tell you guys this right now. 2030 is when all these ideas will be, at the bare minimum, over halfway done. And there's only so much new stuff I can conjure up, which basically means that in the next less than 10 years, I might be done with what ifs completely, besides new stuff. I'm so glad I'm able to work ahead on this stuff and do that. Because unless I told you guys what lists I was working on and what I was doing, you guys would never be able to tell that I get so much done. And that I work ahead so much. Unless I literally told you. And I don't keep stuff from you guys unless I purposely want it to be a secret. Shut up. And now you're dead. Really? Vegito Blue versus Vegeta Blue? No. We're going to do Fuse Zamasu. Zamasu? What now? What's my freaking phone beeping for now? Just random crap? Yeah, it's random crap. Yep, my channel trailer, new intro and outro, and all the stuff's coming up here in just... Today's the 28th? So... that means... about 2 to 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. You guys are going to be getting pretty much, I would say, the biggest moment of the Omniverse of Nick. At least for now, obviously, because there's going to be way more big moments. But just wait. You're going to see what I have planned. I have not told you guys nearly the amount of stuff. You guys might think I told you all of it, but no. There's more you've yet to see. I've just demonstrated what I always do, and I've told teasers. Yeah, how do you like freaking getting attacked from behind? Yeah, it's not fun, is it? Now, how about we not blast me with the Kamehameha again? Huh? When I saw Fuse Zamasu, Goku Black, and Zamasu for the first time, I still to this day, I love them. And you want to know the main reason I freaking do? Is because of their key swords. Like, how awesome is that? It's like Negan's Lucille. You can't argue with a weapon like that. Just a blade you can make from your hand. That's what... and I know that's nothing close to Negan's Lucille, but still, it's literally falls along the lines of best weapon in fiction. And the scythe, yeah, that was cool. That was more or less just an add-on of the Keyblade, you know? Now you could make the argument that I could have liked it way back when Salza used it in Cooler's Revenge, but one thing, I was younger back then, and Salza didn't use it nearly as cool as Goku Black and Zamasu used it. So, I don't think no matter what, I would have liked it more than with, you know, these guys. But now I've come to appreciate Salsa more, which you're going to see a few projects on Salsa in the future. Mainly because of that reason. Yeah, what now? Yeah. Keep my eyes open. That's a lot easier said than done.
You kids sure do have a lot of guts, don't
As if. You know, people were like, oh, Goku should have never come back to life, and Vegeta should have never come back to life. I thought it was about the new generation. You realize that even if Goku and Vegeta weren't brought back to life, everything would have gone to crap for a number of reasons. Number one, we would have not gotten Super Saiyan 4 or Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, and it wouldn't have been canonically introduced and been a final great message from Akira Toriyama before his death. Number two, Beerus would have killed everybody, and Whis would have just brought Goku and Vegeta back with his scepter or staff to just have him do the Super Saiyan God that way. Moscow X has done it. Salad's done it. It would have happened. He brought back Frieza. He would have done the same there. And number three, Gohan, after the Cell Saga, Gohan was nothing. Literally. He was nothing. Why do you think that I only like frickin' Future Gohan? Because the original Gohan doesn't matter. Like, what made Future Gohan good was the fact he was way more balanced and far more characteristic with the likes of Goku. He was far more, he was better. But then you get this Gohan, and he either gets really strong, and then he gets weaker. He gets really strong, and then he gets weaker. He gets really strong, and then he gets even weaker. And the minute that he gets stronger, he gets died down. That's why I don't like Gohan. Now, whenever I said that back then, especially with the whole how Beast came to be, how they tried to make it like, oh, this was a secret power he had all along. Why didn't you introduce it with Cell? It's not a secret power he had all along. It's an extension of Mystic. Literally, ask anybody. He literally said it in Dragon Ball Super. I want to grow beyond this form. You know? And then they tried to hide that. It's not only Chi-Chi's fault that the Gohan in this timeline is like that. It's really his whole creation. That's what makes future Gohan and Trunks the most likable hybrids. Goten and the present Trunks are nothing. I'd like to think that I feel like Goten would have been better if Goku had never died. As for Trunks, I'd like to believe he's definitely going to grow to be just as good as the Trunks we all know and love. And if you guys watched Wrath of Dragons, or the movie with Hirudegarn, there, it actually is speculated that's where he got the sword from, was Tapion, but in the future timeline, Tapion never shows up. So, it's only inferred and really canonized that Trunks got the sword from either Gohan or Bulma. Because there's no way to canonize Tapion without a proper analyzation as to why he got the sword. There's a few mix-ups with future Trunks, but none with Gohan. I mean, the dude loses a freaking arm, which is awesome. They've barely ever done anything cool with the real Gohan. Oh, sure, he's had moments, but those moments are few and far in between, and they really don't amount to much. They really don't. All character stuff that was good for Gohan was lost the second the Cell arc ended. Heh, I'm fighting second form Cell right now. He's just not worth it anymore. Let's just put it this way. Future Gohan was balanced, because the story that was put in place for that era made him balanced, which made him the best version of Gohan ever. But then you get the Gohan that we are all familiar with, and it's a waste of freaking potential and a waste of what could have been a better Gohan. Because not what I just said, not anything of what I just said, but also because if he's not the strongest in the universe, he's literally the weakest. Like, he'll get a power up, like, literally. If it's like with Frieza. If Frieza always trained, the universe would be doomed. And if Gohan always trained, then no bad guy, literally for the entire Dragon Ball franchise as we know it. That counts Z. I don't even care about GT, but GT. Because GT doesn't really matter anymore. Now that, I'll get to all that in a second. But I'm just saying that Gohan just doesn't matter. So any story that I get a chance to, I'm going to use future Gohan from now on. And whatever I can use the Gohan for that we know of, I'm going to make him better. If you guys have watched my Lori story, and I made her likable, because I had to. Otherwise, I would never use her in a story. That's why you see her in so many stories now, is because I find a way to make something bad likable. That's how you make a story, is you find a way to make something that you know people are going to hate, including yourself, and you make it standable. So for Gohan, I make him as likable and as reasonable to be a balanced character as possible. But here's the thing also. With future Gohan, I am going to be implementing the crazy hybrid effect on him, but it's not going to be as crazy with the original Gohan, because I'm actually going to bring logic into it. But you won't get to see that put into fruition until you look at Daima and then Super for the rest of the story. Until then, he'll mostly frickin' be balanced. He'll be what should have made him the ultimate equal and great son to Goku. I'm not saying that he should have been exactly like Goku, but there really should have been more thought put into his character. And then again, not everything in a story is going to be likable. There's always going to be something that you don't like. And the reason that I change these things so much, like I said, it's because unless someone like me puts in front of someone else something that someone else hates and makes it good, no one is going to want to see it. They're not. So if I put in front of you a story about Lori or Gohan, somebody is not going to watch it unless it's made in a way that makes the character likable. Whereas if we talk about a movie or a show or something that's bad, we can all make fun of the fact that it's bad, because there's no way to really make it good. Some things you just cannot make good. No matter how much you try, no matter how much you think, some things are meant to be awful. And that's just how some people make it. And the only way that you could possibly change that is by literally either doing it yourself or waiting until someone tries to make it better. But some things are just better left alone. Thank you. And I continue to do a good job with Lori in the places that I'm able. Because I don't understand this, because her and Chi-Chi are the two most unlikable women that I have ever seen in an entire freaking multi-generational genre of things that I've ever looked at from when I was a little kid until now. I have never seen a pair of two unlikable women in my entire life until I looked at those two people. I just haven't. It's ridiculous. It's both impressive and pathetic that two unlikable characters like that are allowed to exist. Chi-Chi is what ruined Gohan, and Lori is what ruined Carl. Here's the thing, though. I'm going to tell you something that will probably change your mind. You know what makes Lori and Chi-Chi so alike? Because both of them were put in situations that basically threaten the entire world. The zombie apocalypse and multiple androids and like Frieza and all this, that, and the other thing. You want to know the only thing that both of those freaking soccer moms cared about? Putting books in front of their children's faces instead of letting them train to protect the world that's in danger. And by that one fact alone, that makes them the two most unlikable women in the entire world of fiction. They are exactly the same. But Chi-Chi is worse because unlike Lori, she never changes. Ever. Never. Not once. And the second that she let Gohan train, she's like, oh, I let him train, but I never said he was gonna fight. Well, then why the frick would you let him train in the first place if you were just gonna take him away? That takes away all the hard work that Gohan was getting into to train for the androids. Why would you just immediately take him out of it? And then Lori, see, she knew that she messed up, you know? Chi-Chi never has owned up to anything that she's done. Ever since she suckered Goku into marrying her, all she wanted was to literally put a baby in herself, get a baby, and then literally screw over Goku in any way, shape, or form. Somehow Goku is still with her, because he doesn't care, you know? But I guarantee you, if it was Kakarot instead of Goku, Chi-Chi would not exist. He would have either killed her, left her, or forced her to make Gohan a fighter if it was Kakarot. And here's another thing. Lori, she knew she messed up. The second that she put Rick and Shane into that situation and forced them into a situation where Shane died, she knew that she messed up after Rick and them talked at the end of season 2. Afterwards, Lori, you can tell that she knew she messed up. But she still tried to get on Carl's case. But even Carl, as young as he was, like Gohan when he was a kid, see, when Gohan yelled at Chi-Chi in the hospital, that was Gohan's only chance to rebel against his mother, just like Carl did. And it ended the second that the Android saga began. Whereas Carl, as much as he was annoying for many parts of his duration, he was a very good character. That's why so many people are upset that he died. Because not only did the comics show what a character he could have became, but it was all due to the mothers that made both of those characters into the disasters that they became. Because I guarantee you, if both of those mothers had shaped their sons into what their fathers knew that they needed to be for the worlds they lived in, everything would have been better. Michonne, Michonne, think about it this way. Jessie wasn't around enough to become an actual stepmother role for Carl, so I can't say that. And Gohan never had a stepmother, so I can't say that either. But for Carl, Michonne, she never threw books in front of him. She never forced him to do any of that. Heck, they barely even ever argued. She only ever wanted to go ahead and protect him whenever he was doing something dangerous, but she always was by his side. She never forced books in front of him. She was always there to fight alongside him, which made her a better mother, which honestly means that Michonne should have been the mother to Carl instead of Lori. As for Chi-Chi, I guarantee you that it would have been better if Bulma was the mother. Because, like, Trunks has never slacked on training until he grew up into a teen. You know? At least the present Trunks. The future Trunks had to always train. But as for Goten and the Gohan that we know, they were always forced to read books. Like, what was the point in even having kids with a fighter and getting yourself into a world martial arts tournament if you were just going to make the dad have to make the kids read books? Like, they're literally in a world where danger is at their doorstep 24/7. And we're done talking about Walking Dead for a minute. But yeah, Dragon Ball is a world where pretty much danger is... That's why Gohan wasn't in Daima, because that was the root of his downfall, basically. Once the Cell Saga ended, that was step one of his downfall. No, step one was actually whenever he yelled at his mom and then nothing became of it in the hospital. Step two was at the end of the Cell arc, and step three was the end of the Buu arc. Sure, he did go ultimate in the Battle of Gods movie, but then nothing became of it until the Tournament of Power. And then after that, he grew weaker again, got Beast just to give him something. But honestly, the superhero movie wasn't about Gohan becoming Beast. It was about giving Piccolo the justice that after the Cell Saga, he never got. Because after the Cell Saga, Piccolo has just been a background character. And we can't really say that it was about Gohan, because unless something is done to balance Gohan or give him what he deserves forever, he is never going to get better. He will always remain a middle-toned, freaking downgraded version of what future Gohan is and what Gohan should have been for the entire story. Akira Toriyama and other people had an opportunity to make the Gohan that was balanced in that timeline the be-all, end-all Gohan of the entire franchise. And yet nothing became of it. I guarantee you that if Gohan had actually lost his arm at the end of the Cell arc and was molded into Gohan, the future one that we know, whatever you want to call him, his character would have been better. And it's not all Akira Toriyama's fault. It was the complexion of the very design of Gohan. And I don't think he meant to do that. I think that more or less, he realized bringing Goku back was the best way because Gohan's character portrayal was not going to get better than how it was put in. And as for Carl, he was actually not as bad because he was put in a much different situation than Gohan. He was kind of like future Gohan because he actually grew better. He was molded into a freaking survivor, you know? But the present Gohan wasn't. And it's just sad. I'll be right back. I gotta fix my light. Yeah, so basically what I'm getting at is unless someone like, for example, me, cares a whole lot about changing something, it's never going to get better. It will always remain the same. That's why these what ifs are also a big step of being so important. Because it gives not only me, but other people, like, for example, TF and other people I've inspired, the chance to make certain things like that just better. At least the things that deserve change. But hey, this is all just my opinion, not something to truly be taken to heart, but it is something good to learn and stick by. If there's something you know can be changed, no one is going to stop you.
Oh no! Should I maybe get the heck out of here?
I think people criticize Sparking Zero way too much. If you want, you can actually take a look at Shallot, or maybe I could show you him. And then maybe we could get some Shallot recommendations. All I can tell you is that, like Super Dragon Ball Heroes with the evil Saiyan Cumber, Shallot is an ancient Saiyan from way back when. And, yeah. Voiced by, like I said, a pretty popular dude with, Kagi Films, whatever you want to call him. I gotta fix my light. It keeps flickering. Like, what the frick? Because of the rain? I certainly hope not. I haven't heard dramatic thunder or lightning or anything since that big frickin' gust of thunder or whatever. At the beginning of the stream. Hi, TF. We were just talking about what ifs and stuff like that, and about how if someone wants to change something, it's just what it's all about. It's what ifs are all about, is making something you think deserves change and making it better. I also hope you like the hair. My original was blonde, and then I got it red, and now it's bleached very light blonde / white, because middle of July, you'll definitely see why I did this. Fun fact, if I was born with this shade of blonde instead of my darkish blonde, I would have just kept it. I would have never changed it. But yeah, middle of July, you guys definitely see what's up. Also, TF, did you see the current 2 lists that I showed you? And state your opinions on them? About my whole idea about showing multiple lists and doing that stuff? I'll check out your 2 parts when I'm able, because I was actually watching some other stuff and just more or less relaxing, because once the middle of July comes and the Goku Heart Virus story ends, I am going to be so busy that, like, I will barely have any true free time, because I'm going to be trying to go all in to what I'm building for the channel. You guys will definitely see. Huge stuff planned. Huge. I'll show you guys the list again just for clarity. All right, so here is this list, the current one that I'm on after the let me think. After the Lightning McQueen, the Cars Transformers, and the Dinosaurs Extinct one that I'm going to be working on first thing, along with other stories now, obviously. After those 2 are done, this is the next list. And then this one. I'm going to start showing 2 lists at a time because of the daily uploads. I'm working on lists constantly. So I'm no longer waiting until I'm halfway done with the list to work on the next. I'm working on lists 24/7 until I literally have nothing left to put on docs and nothing left to talk about. I'm saying movies, shows, books, games, anything. So yeah. And I already told King Devin this and everything, but I officially have 27 lists, and now my doc has gone from 2,000 ideas to 1,760. And I'm putting an estimated date that by 2028 to 2030, I will have every single one of the ideas that I have right now on the list, and my doc included, done. And all that will be left is new stuff. Like, brand new. So it's not going to take me 10, 15 years like I thought to exhaust every idea, because daily uploads are going to help me. It's honestly the truest step for this channel, and something I really think that's going to help it. I should have done daily uploads from the beginning, but that was when I was still having other channels, and I didn't know this channel was going to do better than those. So, yeah. Speaking of Henry Danger, if you or anyone else has Henry Danger recommendations, say them now. I will not. Let me go back real quick. I have a couple announcements to make. I will not be going up. I will not be streaming next weekend because I will be taking a little mini vacation. So I will not be streaming next weekend, but you will still be getting a Friday upload. And then the stream after this coming Saturday, which, like I said, I will not be streaming. The stream that will be happening after will be the last one before the actual middle of July. And I will not be streaming that Saturday for obvious reasons. Trust me, middle of July, it's going to be a big lot of plans. And I'm going to basically let you guys in on what all is going to be happening. Precisely right after the middle of July. There will be a new channel trailer, a new intro and outro showing, everything that's going to be happening for the rest of the Omniverse going forward, a new look, 6 spoiled stories, a new schedule, and a list of people that I plan to try to collab with, alongside bunches of other stuff. It's going to be a lot of stuff posted to all the socials, and yeah, it's going to be big. What's up, Zeke? Did you see the 2 lists last stream? And hear about like the whole plan that's going on with the channel and everything? You were here last stream and saw those 2 lists and heard about my pretty much like rough estimated plan before I spoil it middle of July, right? So that way I don't have to re-explain myself. Also, hope you like the hair. My original was blonde, and then I chose red, and now I have it bleached a very light blonde, close to white, because for the middle of July, when I do those huge updates and do the big thing and everything, you're going to be looking at a whole new permanent color. And trust me, you guys are not going to want to miss it, especially for the future of the channel. Oh, and another thing. Once this all happens, you guys are going to be receiving not only daily videos and Sunday being the only day off and 3-hour streams, but daily updates. Now, the daily updates is not so much guaranteed, but it's definitely a set in stone preparation thing. You guys are going to love what happens. That's all I can say. Yeah, that Caleb Joker on your frickin' channel is a frickin', he is beyond dumb. Like, for real. Yeah, there's a Caleb frickin' troll on his channel. Everything TF's channel. It's been frickin' trolling and asking stupid questions and just being a total frickin', I hate I hate stupid people. Okay, that's loud. That is very loud. Just basically asking him stupid questions and being like all the trolls that we've had to deal with here on the Omniverse. It just makes me laugh thinking those trolls waste their time in an effort to try to dumb me down or stop the growth. They have no idea how persistent and endeared I am, so to speak, to what I'm trying to strive for. Zeke has had some troll problems as well. It just amuses me to hear how these trolls spend so much time worrying about how they want to ruin someone else's growth, and they don't even pay attention to what we actually are all about. Hey, Slick, I barely even see you around anymore. Are you caught up with updates and lists and everything like that? I don't know if it's a valid question or not, because I don't really see you anymore. I miss whenever people like Time Assassin and like Dennis Edict were around more. Now they're really not. Heck, Time Assassin's basically mute at this point on his socials. Some people just don't stay forever. And then you get new fans. Heck, TF wasn't here for the longest time. Until I made my Cliff story. Who knows, Time Assassin and Dennis might return one day. Just watch me text every single fan whenever I get to like 1 million subs or something. Oh, I get that. I'm tired and it's not even from work. Yeah, that's like asking me why would I make Cooler and King Cold forms and all this stuff canon and mess around with that in my Frieza story, because the Frieza race is the main prospect of the story. So I full on get where you're coming from. I don't know how caught up you are on stuff, Slick Devil. But I would suggest to you, if you are not caught up with everything, I would suggest looking at all the posts, my homepage, my videos, and if you're able, my other socials. And for those of you who are not aware, the very, like, maybe 2 of you that are not aware, because I'm pretty sure everyone knows, the Omniverse is now a freaking YouTube partner. We're freaking monetized, man. All right, TF, it was good seeing you. Oh, and one more thing to those of you who are Dragon Ball fans and watching the Zombie Goku story, let's make it a point that by the time the movie comes out for the Zombie Goku story by the end of July, let's make it a point to try to get Smugstick to approve of the story. Because remember, I'm doing this as an inspiration and remake to his one-parter. So let's try to get him involved. He's a much, 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 much bigger YouTuber than I am. And I don't really follow into and look into everything he does. But that idea was heavily inspired by me to remake it into an actual story. So for those of you who are Dragon Ball fans and watching the story, let's totally make it a point that by the time the movie comes out, let's get him involved, you know? Who knows? That might actually not only generate a huge amount of support to the Omniverse, but like get other what if people involved. I mean, I was gonna like originally like get myself geared up more as a what if YouTuber to like then collab with like what if YouTubers that are around my level. But since this is direct inspiration from a decently big what if YouTuber, how can I not take advantage? You know? Might as well. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying we should all totally get him on here. I'm not saying right away. Let's wait until the movie comes out. I don't even know if he remembers making that story. That's one of his older videos. But who knows? He might answer. All right, so I asked King Devin this, but for any other Dragon Ball fans, how many of you have played Dragon Ball Legends and know of the character Shallot? He's now in Sparking Zero / Budokai Tenkaichi 4, and he's voiced by Alejandro Saab, Kagi Films, Kagmaster, whatever the frick you want to call him. And he voices Shallot in that game, and now he voices him again for Sparking Zero. So now Shallot is the second video game character to make it into another video game. Because first was Android 21 from Fighters, and then she made it into Xenoverse 2. And now Shallot has followed suit from his Legends prison. But I'm specifically a Dokkan Battle fan. I tried to get into Legends, but it really wasn't my cup of tea, you know? Which is the thing with some games. You're going to like one game, and then you're going to not want to play others, you know? Not everybody likes the same thing. Some people who I'm friends with, I wish my friend Eugene Kaz was here right now. I think he's more of a he knows a lot about or at least a decent bit about Dragon Ball Legends, but I think he's more of a Dokkan Battle guy himself. These two games I'm referring to are more or less like frickin' they're mobile games, you know? Or like PC games. They're not ones you could play off a console. You know? Whereas like Xenoverse, Dragon Ball The Breakers, and Sparking Zero, and like every other one of there's very few like mobile. There are far more, I feel, console games when it comes to Dragon Ball than there are mobile games. You know? I'm so glad that I got into freaking Dragon Ball. How I came up and got into Dragon Ball in the first place was when I was about 7 years old. Dragon Ball Z Kai was airing on the freaking TV. That's how I got into Dragon Ball, was just watching Dragon Ball Z Kai. And back then, I didn't realize that Z and GT were basically useless. They were for people who were getting into the Dragon Ball franchise. But when you look at how Akira, fun fact, Akira Toriyama would have never came back with Dragon Ball Super if people didn't make Dragon Ball Evolution into a total disaster. That's the entire reason why Super exists. So then I realized, especially after Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and 4 Goku were canonized, I realized the split timeline curriculum of what Akira Toriyama did. So let me explain. I've explained this before. Dragon Ball Z, the movies, and GT are all their own timeline because GT canonizes the movies, right? But then you get Dragon Ball Z Kai, which gets rid of all the filler and then you got Daima and Dragon Ball Super. That's all canon. That is what you should, if you're a first-time Dragon Ball fan, watch Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT. You know, if you're a first-time Dragon Ball fan, but if you really, truly, actually want to get into Dragon Ball with no filler, no silliness, no, not to say that like the filler was all silly. It just, the dialogue and what went with the show for all of what was that, it just is cringe and it does not work. So if you really, really, really want to get into the Dragon Ball world, watch Dragon Ball Z Kai, and Daima and Super. That is the best way you can get into Dragon Ball as a whole, you know? But yeah, that's how I got into the Dragon Ball franchise, was watching Kai first on the TV. And I was young back then, so I didn't know about the whole, like, filler and everything like that. That's why I don't watch Naruto, but I have a video game, at least, like one video game about it. Because Naruto almost has almost everything in Naruto is filler. Almost basically everything. And then as for other animes, I like some of the other characters in the animes. Like Saitama, I like him from One Punch Man. And I like characters from Naruto. And a few characters from other animes. It's just, Dragon Ball will always be the heart and soul for me watching anime. You know? It's just, it's stuck with me ever since I was little. And then I watched The Walking Dead during whenever COVID hit, and that became my second favorite show. And yeah, it's shows like that just stick with you, you know? You pick something like that and it sticks with you. It shows. It just holds a special place, you know? Wow, I have a Tien freaking outfit, and I'm against second form Cell. How funny is that? Would you leave me alone, Cell? I did nothing to you. I mean, yes, I did kind of attack you, but... Really? What if Cell absorbed Rick Grimes? Because that's what he just did in Dragon Ball The Breakers. See, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Breakers is basically like a Xenoverse 2.5. This is mainly for Dragon Ball fans. And you can make your own CAC, like Xenoverse and Ultimate Tenkaichi. Ultimate Tenkaichi was basically Xenoverse 0.5, basically before Xenoverse, because you could make CACs in it, but it wasn't part of the main story. It was its own separate thing. And then Xenoverse happened. Man, if you didn't grow up with games, if you were a Dragon Ball fan and you didn't grow up with games like Raging Blast and the Budokais and the Budokai Tenkaichis and Ultimate Tenkaichi and Battle of Z, like, you definitely need to get those games, because they are... You're never going to get those kinds of games again, you know? I remember doing the quiz at the end of the episodes for Talking Dead to see if you paid attention. I don't know if Slick's still here or not. Spy X Family, I don't know what that is. But yeah, anyways, like I was saying, I just made Rick Grimes in the breakers because you can use a gun in a Dragon Ball game to shoot boxes and stuff. And I figured if I could do that, I want to make Rick Grimes because I can't make him in any other Dragon Ball game. And this is the best chance to do so because you can use a gun. So why not? And then he just absorbed me because you can either play as Raiders or Survivors, which is your own CAC, or separate guys that are already chosen for you. Like some of the Raiders, for example, is Cell, Boo, Frieza, the Gammas and Cell Max, Broly, Baby from GT, and stuff like that. And then Survivors, you got your own guy, or ones like King Kai or Oolong or the farmer with the shotgun. And yeah, Cell just absorbed me. So I wonder what would happen if Cell absorbed Rick Grimes. I mean, it probably wouldn't do much because Rick Grimes is a pretty strong human, but it really wouldn't have done much. I was just saying what if because I'm a what if guy. I hate whenever they just sit there and do nothing. You're supposed to be my teammates and yet you're just sitting there doing nothing. These are real players too. Pretty interesting anime about a spy adopting a longer. Oh, what I wanted to get to about GT not really mattering is because since they canonized Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta as a goodbye message from Akira Toriyama, and Kai was made, and all that stuff, and then they canonized Broly, which basically gets rid of the Broly movie. Since they have canonized and brought in stuff that makes Z and GT look like jokes, but makes still Dragon Ball look relevant, that means that GT and Z essentially don't matter. So everything that happened there is like its own separate continuity, you know? So if you're a Dragon Ball fan and if you want to watch all of it for separate continuities or just because, then no one's going to stop you. But I'm just saying, if you really want to get into everything that you can, get into Z or Dragon Ball Z Kai, Daima, Super, and the Super movies. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to get into Dragon Ball for the true facts and everything that it truly has to offer. But if you really just want to watch Dragon Ball just because, then that's up to you. But anyway, yeah, I'm not saying everything from Z and GT was bad. I'm just saying that because Evolution brought in this horrible field of a Dragon Ball real-life movie and ruined Dragon Ball so much that Akira Toriyama came back, it basically means that, yeah, it just doesn't matter anymore. Not everything was bad in it. It just could have been a lot better. You know? And since they're canonizing so much stuff in Dragon Ball Super and doing all this, that, and the other thing, it proves that everybody knows how bad Z and GT were. And Kai made what the filler honestly ruined. It makes things like some of the fights, especially the dialogue. It makes things like that should have been more explained or more drawn out. Not so much drawn out, but just more explained and just better. it makes those moments what they should have been. And it makes the fight scenes, Kai makes the fight scenes and the music and the setting trillions of times better. But that's mainly for Dragon Ball fans, and honestly, it's totally up to you. That's just a recommendation from me. Okay, so I have a question for you. Which Super Saiyan 4 transformation do you like more? The canon one or the GT one? And then which Broly and Gogeta do you like? The canon or, you know, the other ones? The GT and movie ones? I'm not saying the other ones are bad. I'm just saying that they just don't really matter anymore. They're only brought into games and brought into the media because it's what made Dragon Ball a thing before it was made differently. Before it was changed.
This is getting exciting already! Okay, I'm gonna give this one my best shot.
You haven't seen it yet? I thought you said you saw some of it. Oh, okay. People get mad because Super Saiyan 4 Goku never came back, and Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta never came back, and they never explain about it in Super or anything. But people forget there's logic behind seemingly not logic, so I'll explain. The reason Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta wasn't in Super is because, like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, they were both catalysts. You know? So let me explain. When we get to Dragon Ball Super, Goku has Ultra Instinct, but he needed a catalyst. The Spirit Bomb, Kefla's energy, and Jiren's energy, right? He got it through a catalyst. And he hasn't been able to do it since because he needs something that enables him to be able to do it. And that's the same thing with Super Saiyan 4, which happened way earlier. He needed Neva to help him get it out. He needed Neva to unlock it for him, which is the old Namekian. And with Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, he didn't know, or I feel wasn't paying attention enough to the fact that it took energy away from him, which he figured out against Goma, the Supreme Demon King. Which I think, honestly, by the time Battle of Gods came around, meant that even he understood that Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta wouldn't have done anything. And since he had so much more mastery over Super Saiyan 2, and Beerus knocked Super Saiyan 3 Goku out in 2 blows, Vegeta probably didn't pay attention to the fact that for all he knew, not even to the viewers, Super Saiyan 4 would have fared no better. So that's probably why he didn't use Super Saiyan 3. And then God came into the mix. And by that point, 4 and 3 for both Goku and Vegeta were nothing except for Goku to show off 3 twice for the rest of Super. So honestly, people complain about 4 and 3, Goku and Vegeta not being in Super when they don't look at the facts. And if you don't look at the facts for something and automatically get angry about not getting something that you really want, then you have no absolute right to get mad about it. You have to look at the facts to understand why people do what they do. And then you can understand it more, as long as it makes sense. Here's a question I can ask all of you. What did you guys think of The Walking Dead Dead City Season 2? Honestly, Dead City has been boring. Heck, Daryl Dixon has been more freaking, like, better than that. And even that's still a slow roll. At least with Season 1, up to the variants, Daryl was a slow roll. And then Season 2, we had that whole Carol and Sophia closure, along with the variants more, and Daryl and Carol meeting again, even if Isabella sadly died. But I swear, the only good things about Dead City has been the confrontations with Maggie and Negan, mainly at the end of the Season 1. And then Season 2, the main things that have been interesting is Negan with the electric Lucille, which is freaking that's pretty freaking cool, I'm not gonna lie. And then we got the bear, which honestly I think was nerfed because it was already hurt. You could see that the bear was hurt, which is why I have a what if plan. What if Ezekiel had the bear instead of Shiva? Which honestly would have made the bear not so hurt and wouldn't have nerfed it. It would have nerfed Shiva instead. And honestly, I don't think they had the budget to make the bear stronger. And besides that, in the electric bats, Season 2 was boring up until the end when Negan had the flashbacks of especially Lucille. That was amazing. And Ginny, I did not care too much about, honestly, when she died. Yeah, it might have been a sad moment, but you know what I did like about her? She finally brought in what has really been making Maggie hate Negan. And the Dama, who should have been freaking dead, and now I hate Herschel, but I actually understand both. I actually understand why Herschel has acted the way he has, why Maggie has acted the way she has, and why the Dama basically explained why Maggie has hated Negan. Because the reason that Maggie continues to hate Negan and why this problem has been so frustratingly annoying is the whole dynamic between them. She explains that every time Negan is thriving, Maggie wants to cut him down because all she sees is the man that killed Glenn. And that showed when Negan killed freaking Bruegel in that brutal way. Like, that was amazing to see old Negan back. But it showed that he was so close to dying. Maggie held Lucille and was ready to do the deed. But Ginny, ironically, saved Negan without even meaning to. But that's not what did it. It's the whole dynamic. So let me explain. What we know is when Negan first killed Glenn, Maggie was so infuriated and plagued by revenge that she couldn't accept the fact that Rick and Michonne wanted Negan to live, to see what he did wrong. But Maggie finally started to see it when Negan was in the cage begging to die. But when he was out of the cage and Maggie came back, she could see him thriving. And all she saw was the man who killed Glenn. But every time Negan was down and actually had a family or something, Maggie sympathized. But once her kid was taken, she was brought back into evil Maggie, because that has had such a strong impact on her mind that essentially it's given her multi-personality disorder and just a heavy burden on her heart. Because that's how vital Glenn's character was, is that it gave Maggie such a strong hold on her heart. That's why she told Negan she will never love anyone like that again. Because Glenn put a part on Maggie's character that she will never get back. That part of her that truly feels, that part of her that is not so much innocent, but that holds a special place. So the Dama explaining that actually gives us closure. Now I feel with season 3 and Negan and Maggie actually talking to each other, with Negan losing Ginny and Maggie and Negan hearing this from the Dama and Herschel staying with the Dama, we can't really hate Herschel now, because he's with someone that finally explained the dynamic that we've been trying to figure out since the second Negan was locked in that cage. And honestly, it's actually given us closure. So I feel that by the time season 3 comes around for Dead City, we will finally have the Maggie and Negan story closure that we should have had the second either the show ended in the original or the second Maggie came back after Negan was let out of his cell. And that's why I feel that not only can Herschel's dumb freaking actions be forgiven, but the Dama and everything that's been a slow burn in Dead City has actually come to build. It's finally shown us this dynamic and how stupid it's been actually had a motive. And that's how you build a story, is by making it draw as long as you can and then smash with an epic freaking hook, line, and sinker. But that's just me. What are your guys' thoughts? You haven't seen the finale yet? All right. Dara had a slow burn, but it was definitely not humongous, as the Dead City has. But now that I've actually come to analyze it and do what I do, which is how I make these stories, I actually make sense, you know? You can't understand something if you don't try to read into it. That's why these freaking movies, shows, books, games, it's all about analyzation, about how you look at what you're looking at, essentially. You make a good point, Nick, because I've been finding Maggie character repetitive at times. She wants to kill Negan, but change her mind each time. Oh, I have no doubt that one of them will die, whether it's old age or one of them killing each other. But whether they die by one of them killing each other or by the fact that it's by someone else, I feel that this has actually given us closure by putting a villain in front of our faces that literally tells us to our faces why they are like this. Then again, the Dama wasn't much of a villain anyway. I feel like the Croat was more of a villain. But putting a villain in front of us that showed us why Maggie and Negan have been like this proves that there was a reason why this rivalry has gone on so long. Because not only did Glenn hold a part of Maggie that controlled her, that made her so different from anyone else. Because literally, yeah, it took Daryl almost as long too. And not everyone's going to forgive Negan. But no one went to the greatest depths of the world to try to kill, harm, or attack, or do something Negan as much as Maggie Rhee has. Whether it's Herschel, whether it's Maggie, I feel that maybe this has closed off the book for Maggie and Negan. And then there are some people in the comments saying that, oh, Negan and Maggie should get together. That is like the last thing that I think will happen. I actually have that saved just because of that one scene whenever they were in the house and they were dealing with the Reapers and everything. But that's honestly more or less just for laughs and not for, like, you know, actual seriousness, because that would be the last thing that happens. And the only way that I see that happening is if Negan wasn't a bad guy and literally met Maggie like somehow beforehand. I really got to look into that more because I'm honestly thinking about trashing that idea, because I really don't ever see that happening. But never say never. Oh, do you guys remember? It was at the beginning of last year. We all sat down at in the middle of the freaking night, and we sat down for a before and after stream for The Ones Who Live. That was only last year, and yet it feels forever. That was fun. And you guys might be asking, why didn't you do that for either Daima or Dead City or Daryl Dixon? That's because it's freaking Rick and Michonne. I had to do something special for them. We all know that if Rick had stayed behind, he literally would have gotten his story in the comics. And fun fact, there was a deleted scene at the end of The Ones Who Live where Rick has his hook arm from the comics. So that shows that since the prosthetic was destroyed, rest in peace, because that thing was awesome. It means that they're finally, the next time we see Rick Grimes, he's going to have a hook hand, but they can't do his comic storyline anymore because they did a lot of comic, what's the word? Similarities from the show, and especially with Rick, but they cut that the minute Rick left because Andrew Lincoln wanted to be with his family. So Rick didn't have another comic moment until we saw him again, and he had his arm and everything like that. But I don't think, no. But unlike the comics, he cut his own arm off, which was freaking brutal just to try to get away. Which in my Saw video, I said that if Rick was trapped by Jigsaw, he would have literally cut off one of his own limbs just to get out. Jigsaw would be no kind of match for Rick Grimes' will to live. The CRM has way more advantage over Rick's mind than Jigsaw ever would. And that's saying a lot. A lot. Considering that Jigsaw basically could plague everyone's mind of who he's near. Who doesn't hate Sebastian? Let's be real here. What person looks at Sebastian and has been like, oh, I really like this kid? No. You did not just say up there with Dawn for the worst character spot. Lori freaking Grimes. She is the worst character. Be all, end all of the discussion. Ever wonder why I made What If Lori Survived and made Lori so good and continue to make her so good in all these stories? Because she's the worst. She is the worst. Don't get me wrong. Dawn and Sebastian are very bad characters, but Lori will always be number one. No ifs, ands, or buts. My April Fool's video, my Lori freaking prequel video to the series video, and part 1 will tell you she is the worst. Gabriel redeemed himself by the end of season 11. And whenever he let the people in, that was his way of redeeming himself for locking out his congregation. I'm glad that Gabriel's story came full circle. And the reason Rosita died is because Christian Serratos, she didn't want to be in any of the spinoffs. So she wanted to die. We're done with the stream anyway. All right. Hope you guys had a great time talking with me and everybody else. Now, if you guys have not seen any of the posts, videos, updates, everything on the channel, since I won't be making another post or community post until the middle of July, check all that stuff out. Obviously, I still will be making videos, but the last stream that you will see before the middle of July will be the Saturday after next Saturday. So videos, and then you won't see me face to face until next Saturday before the middle of July, and the fated freaking awaiting that we have been freaking waiting for. And with all that said, I will see you guys here in a few days for more stuff for the Zombie Goku story. And if you guys have any suggestions or comments or anything like that before the middle of July and before 2 weeks from now, that stream, feel free to place them anywhere on the freaking Omniverse. Because like I said, and like I continue to say, we are just getting started. And I will see you guys later.